So Katrina and I are here today to talk about plastics in plastic packaging used for food, which is a huge hot topic at the moment for the industry. And there's a lot of talk around it. It's sort of stemmed partly from the Blue Planet program, but of course it is a topic that we've been talking about for a long, long time. I think Blue Planet just highlighted it and brought it to the attention of consumers, which has made it sort of even more, or raised it up the government agenda even more. So, Michael Gove has been talking a lot about how plastic packaging could be reduced, and there's been discussion around single-use plastics and plastic straws and cotton buds and the latte levies and all this sort of thing. But for me, Katrina, I think it would be wrong of us to start to vilify plastic, because as a material it is one of the most versatile and useful materials that we have created, and has a huge use in the food industry.
Well, exactly, and has a huge, very important role in food safety. And to a certain extent food labelling, which is very important to consumers as well. So we need to make sure that we don't lose sight of those things in the sort of slightly single-minded pursuit of dealing with the plastic issue.
Quite. I mean, plastic packaging is important for consumers, that they receive the product that they want in the right condition, that it's not being contaminated, there's no food hygiene issues, that it's of a quality that they expect. But I think equally consumers want food manufacturers to use plastic responsibly. So if there isn't a need for plastic and there's an alternative that could be used, then that's something that food manufacturers and retailers should look at. And you have the likes of Iceland, of course, who've come out with their plan to remove all plastic packaging from their own brand goods within the next 5 years, which is a very admirable target. I think one of the challenges they're going to find is whether there is enough out there in terms of packaging technology and innovation that can actually be a proper substitute for plastic, because a lot of the technologies that are promoted, when you look into it, actually still create the problem of breaking down into microplastics or other nasties that actually don't make it a viable alternative. Yes. But I think the other thing for me, Katrina, is about realizing that plastic packaging is just part of a cycle here. This is recognizing that from the moment that a food manufacturer decides that they want to produce a product and they're designing their packaging, thinking quite carefully about what are the elements of that packaging. Are they actually ensuring that it is recyclable? Are they mixing different types of plastic, or making the packaging, creating the packaging in such a way that it's not very easy to recycle it? So you have to start thinking about it right at the beginning. But then the way you just track that through, all the way through to the consumer, is it easy for consumers to get their plastics recycled? We have, of course, I think every local authority around the country runs some kind of recycling scheme, but there's so much difference between them.
They're very, very varied, and what you can recycle in different areas is extremely varied, which is a challenge to food manufacturers because, of course, generally speaking, they don't make packaging on a local basis. So if you're trying to ensure that your packaging is recyclable everywhere, that is very challenging. I mean, of course, some manufacturers have gone down the route of saying you can return the packaging and they will recycle it for you, but you have to accept that that's not going to work for all consumers, and the practical uptake of that by consumers is going to be limited, probably.
I agree. I think one of the other issues is, even when that plastic's collected, is having the facilities there to recycle it, particularly to be able to recycle the plastic so that it's of the same or similar grade. Those facilities are actually quite limited. So it's about, I think for me, making sure that cycle is complete and that we are filling all those gaps and those holes so that we can properly use plastic in our packaging, but we know that it's going to be recycled and come out the other end and not go into landfill or into the oceans, etc. So I think the plastics debate is here to stay. It's something that we'll be talking about in the food sector for a while to come.
I'm sure.